I was like, God, she knows what she's talking about. I'm gonna get her book. And so I got your book and I read it and I was like, this is it. This is it. She knows what she's talking about.
Hey guys, I'm excited for you to meet Michelle over in Wetaskiwin in Alberta, Canada. Michelle is a long COVID survivor who's been on a challenging journey since April of 2021. After overexerting herself, she became bedbound and began exploring all sorts of treatments. But Michelle found hope and inspiration actually in many of the interviews here on this channel, and she wrote me telling me about some of the people that just really helped her on her journey. So I'm excited to hear more about that. And these people helped her to finally start to figure out how to get past this. And now, while Michelle is not yet totally fully recovered, she is confident she is on her right path out of this. And so many of you leave comments that you want me to do more interviews with people who are still right in it. So I've heard you, I'm listening, and here's one that I hope you will enjoy. So welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for doing this.
A pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
And it's so exciting to have another Canadian. I'm in California right now, but I'm also, we were saying before we hit record, I'm also from Alberta. We're not too far apart, so really nice to
Yeah,
have
no, I
you.
wish I was from California right now, but it's a little chilly here.
Oh, so take us back. What was life leading up to getting COVID? How did this all, what did that look like for you?
So I didn't realize at the time, but now I know a few things. And so looking back, I can see that I was probably destined to have some sort of crash or burnout. I noticed as far back as my teenage years, just things happening, whatever. And I had some panic attacks over the years and or what I thought were panic attacks over the years. And, after a few weeks, things subsided or whatever. And fast forward to the pandemic, or I guess I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia about 20 years ago. So then fast forward to just before the pandemic, and I'm a massage therapist by profession. And so I get to have all these conversations with people one-on-one for about an hour at a time in a darkened room. And around that time, that's all anybody really wanted to talk about was how it was affecting them, how it affected maybe a family member, a friend, or who got sick, who died, things like this. And so there was just a lot of fear present all day, every day in my room. And I thought I had dodged it. I thought, because I wasn't really afraid of it. And, but then we had to close down because the world came to a stop. And so my profession had to close down for, I think it was 3 months the first time. And then instead of gently increasing my stamina again, I just jumped right back into it and had a full schedule. And it was good. I lasted about a week. And then, the aches and pains started to come in because I just wasn't, used to this work again. And again, still, there wasn't so much, well, maybe there was fear, I don't know, but I still wasn't really feeling that edge of fear. Like I just thought, if it happened, it happened. And I wasn't, it was just going to be like a bad flu or something like that. And then just a series of things kind of happened. I hurt my shoulder. Probably, well, it seemed like it was a work-related thing. And then something else happened. I can't remember what, but again, kind of later in the year. And then in December again, we had to close down for a few weeks because, everything was closing down. And by that time, some things started to happen. I definitely was fearful of, I don't know what. I just had this like fear, this anxiety in my body. And I started to get really emotional. I was just like, I would cry at, I don't know, just silly things. And it just kind of a snowball. And I got sensitive to light. But it always seemed to be just like when I was working. When I was at home, I seemed to be fine. And yeah, and then in January of the next year, so 21, I think just from working, my shoulder just kind of was done. And I got intense, excruciating pain. And it was like nerve pain. It was just like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And So I did try to take some time off and to heal and rest, just like my doctor said. But it just never got better. I did massage, acupuncture, chiro, all those things to kind of help it, but I never got better. Yeah, I hurt my shoulder and I was resting it. And then in April, Easter dinner, when you were not supposed to gather together, we did, and we had Easter dinner, and somebody at my husband's office tested positive, and he must have been around that person or whatever. Anyways, and so he ended up sharing it with myself and my daughter and her partner and their kids. And
Wow.
or not, I guess I only had one granddaughter at that time, but yeah. And so we just thought, well, I'll see you in 3 weeks after my, sickness and quarantine kind of thing. And my husband, it really hit my husband the hardest. He just kind of laid in the chair and in bed, and he just sweat to death and had chills and shakes, and he said he felt very weak and whatever. So he got sick a few days before me, probably about 3 or 4 days before me. So I still wasn't quite into being sick, and so I was taking care of him, and then when my symptoms came on, it was more like a sinus cold or whatever. And so for a few days I was coughing and drippy and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, ha, I have got this made, I'm going to be one of those cases that is just going to see you later, COVID kind of thing. And I remember thinking, because I didn't vacuum before we got sick, didn't vacuum the carpet, and we've got pets. And so, it was a good 2 weeks before, all this happened or whatever. And I just decided, you know what, I'm feeling okay. And my cold's clearing up. I'm just going to vacuum the carpet. And I did. I decided to vacuum because I hadn't vacuumed since before we got sick. And it was kind of bothering me. And I felt like I was kind of coming out of the sickness. And so I thought, I'll just do it. And I did. And I sat down after putting the vacuum away, and just this blanket, this wave of exhaustion settled on me. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I was like, I can't even sit here. I'm just going to fall on the floor. I need to go lay down. I need to go lay in bed. And so I stumbled to my bedroom because I couldn't even really, by that point, my legs wouldn't even really kind of carry me. And so I stumbled to the bedroom, and I got into bed, and I just felt like I just couldn't get a complete breath. So I tried to keep breathing. I felt like it wasn't working. It just made me more out of breath, if that makes sense. And I felt like I would just not wake up. I couldn't get enough breath. I would just melt into the mattress, and it would never see me again. I just had no energy. I've been tired. I think I'd been exhausted before, but this was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before, ever. And so I really just thought, oh, I'll rest today, and I might be tired tomorrow. And so in the morning, the dog needed to get out, or maybe she wanted to eat, I'm not sure which. And I jumped out of bed, and I went down the hallway, and I fed her, watered her. And when I turned around to go back to the bedroom, again, just this deep, deep wave of exhaustion overcame me. And I'm not sure how I made it back to my room. I think I was, bracing myself on the walls down the hallway, trying to make it back. And I climbed into bed. And again, just that feeling of, I will never wake up from this. I'm just exhausted. I couldn't get a complete breath. It was just overwhelming. It was just, I've never experienced anything like that before. And from there, I just became bedbound. And yeah, so my husband was kind of feeling better by that time. And I said, okay, it's your turn. You need to look after me. And, maybe like most men, they're not, I don't know. He would come and check on me about every once in a while. But I finally told him, I said, you need to come in here like every hour and make sure I'm still alive because I just felt like I would be gone. I used to wear pajamas to bed because this is maybe TMI, but I just didn't wear pajamas to bed before. But getting sick, I wore pajamas to bed just in case you had to call the ambulance and I needed to be, taken away to the hospital. And so I just wanted to be prepared that way and have some clothes on. Yeah. And, gradually things got better, but it took a long time to get to where I was, I could go from the bed to the couch and then a little bit outside, just to sit on the deck or whatever. And, but I was housebound for again a few months after that, probably till July-ish, I think. And then, even then I could only go for like a short trip to the grocery store, like just to pick up one thing, because like that was enough. And when I walked, it was like I had weights on my legs. Like I couldn't walk fast. It was not that I walk fast, but I just couldn't walk normal. It was just like slogging through a mud pit. It was just heavy, 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 heavy. Yeah, it was not the best experience, but and my doctor just told me that I needed to exercise, is what he told me. I need to start exercising. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I should start exercising because, I haven't been. I just been resting this out, thinking I'm going to get better. He's like, no, you need to start exercising. And so while I was like, that kind of makes sense because that's what you do after an event or something like that, I guess, exercise your way out of it. And so before I got sick, I was doing a lot of walking and biking. I have a stationary bike. And so I sat on my bike and I turned the pedals a little bit and I was like, no, I can't do this. And from that experience, I think that put me kind of like back in bed for another, I don't know, probably week or so, just because I didn't have enough energy stores built up. So yeah, it was quite the journey of climbing out of that pit. And yeah, I've been pretty functional since about maybe September of last year. So before that, I couldn't drive. I could only like take 10-minute trips, to the grocery store and back in the city that I live in. And I worked up to, there's a shopping center about 30 minutes from where I live. And so I worked up to going there, but then I couldn't do the driving and the shopping and then the driving. I could only do the driving. So, I just I worked up to being able to do stuff little by little. And I haven't tried to drive any more than an hour away. My daughter lives about an hour away. I don't need to go any farther than that. That's good enough for me right now. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what happened.
Michelle, I'm so sorry. This just sounds terrifying and like an absolute nightmare. I can't imagine what was going through your head. No one should have to go through that. And when doctors don't have any answers for you, or actually even worse, they have unhelpful, potentially dangerous information for you. So what did I know you've made progress and I know you eventually started finding things that work for you, but what was your initial approach to this? Or what were there some things that you tried that didn't work first, or did you not stumble on, but seek out and find things that ended up right away being helpful for you?
So initially I thought, I actually went on the internet quite early on and but there wasn't a lot of information about, what was going on. But I did stumble on a story that this person had written, and she said she just rested. She rested. She had the luxury and opportunity to rest, and so she rested for like, I don't know, 3 months, and then she was able to go again. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna rest this out, whatever. And it just seemed like the more that I rested, the more tired I got, and that wasn't working for me. And so, I kept looking for things, and then finally I found some Facebook groups. I found another YouTube channel. You probably have heard of Gez Medinger. And he did a lot of research type stuff about COVID and interviewing experts and things like that. And so, but he takes it more from a scientific standpoint and medical kind of standpoint that way. And there was a lot of great information that way. And so I kind of got stuck there and waiting for the medical field to catch up to, what was going on with me. And simultaneously, I was involved in a bunch of Facebook groups and on these groups, it wasn't terrible at first, I think, but there was a lot of negativity and sadness, frustration, like all those sort of negative type emotions. And it just sort of like fed that downward spiral that you're in, and it wasn't helpful in a way that it needed to be helpful. And so I kind of got stuck there for a while, and I tried everything that everybody said helped them. I tried supplements, I tried naturopath, I tried I tried celery juicing, I tried oh gosh, I don't know, lots of things, but in the end, nothing really helped. I heard about pacing. I don't know if it was from you or somebody else, but eventually I did catch up to your video about pacing, and I bought myself a watch so that I could pace myself. And it was kind of a good thing, but then it was also a bad thing, because then I was really like micromanaging everything that I did, like, oh, that was too much activity. My heart rate went up, and, so then I became fearful about, that part of it as well. And so there was just a lot of things that I didn't do right in the beginning because I didn't know. And so you just try this and you try that. And when I first found you, I don't know if I listened to some videos first or whatever, but then I was like, God, she knows what she's talking about. I'm going to get her book. And so I got your book and I read it, and I was like, this is it. This is it. She knows what she's talking about. And and I was like, yes, I'm going to change up how I'm eating. I really wasn't eating. I didn't even feel hungry, really. So I just kind of changed how I was eating a little bit and eliminated some things from my diet. And I began to feel a lot better. And then I just kind of leveled out after that. Like I wasn't getting better. I wasn't getting worse. And so then I didn't know what to do. And then you kind of had some more interviews, and almost as soon as you posted them, I was like on it, like I needed more information. I needed to find some more things out. And I can't remember who you interviewed, but no, it doesn't matter. I can't remember. I lost my train of thought there, actually. Said talking about.
Yeah, I think it was just, I was just asking generally about your recovery. So, you said you found the book, you kind of leveled out, but weren't really getting anywhere. So started looking at interviews and...
Right. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So I was looking at interviews, but then I was still in this Facebook group, and there was a girl who posted that she had recovered from long COVID. And I was like, okay, so I messaged her, and we're kind of talking about her recovery and what she did and everything. And she had actually done the Lighthouse program. But what she said was, yeah, I just decided that I, was going to get better, and I did these things and I got better. And I kind of like blasted her, and I said, these are real like physical symptoms, and I can't just like decide that I'm, not going to have heart palpitations or this overwhelming fatigue or post-exertional malaise. Like I just can't decide I'm going to be done with these things. And so we kind of went back and forth in this chat a little bit and whatever. And she said, I'm just telling my story. This is just how it is. And she had made a blog about her recovery, and I watched it, and I just had like a mind shift, and I said to myself, why not? What have I got to lose? I want my story to be like her story. I want to recover. I don't want to sit here and, marinate in all of this negativity and things that are going on. And so I began, and she had said she'd done the brain retraining, and I didn't know what that was. And I was like, yes, I'm going to do brain retraining. And so Googled it and I found a bunch of programs and I tried to find one that felt like it fit with me. And I think around that time you had interviewed Miguel and from CFS Recovery, and I was like, wow, he's been through it. He knows what's going on, and he's got this program and everything. And I did interview with him, but I didn't end up choosing his program because it was just really out of my finances at the time, and I couldn't afford it. And so I went with another program, and they say to stick with their program for like 6 months, and so that you can kind of get the full effect, I guess, or whatever, really try it on. And that's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to try this on. I really wanted to recover. And so that I tried this program, and it was group coaching, which was good, but it was so I felt like I was too strict, maybe. I don't know if strict is the right word. It wasn't fitting with how I needed, I guess. I'm not really sure how to word that, but I stuck with it for the 6 months, and I did get a little bit better, but I was just so confused about the program still, like the language they used, and I couldn't understand it, and I couldn't figure it out either. And so then that was like in January of this year, I think. Yeah, January of this year, that I finally just stopped that. And then shortly after that, you had interviewed Kyle, and then Nurse Rob, and then Sam Wysock, right? Kind of all like you put them out about a month or so, like apart from each other, and it just sort of fit with everything that I was going through. And with Kyle, I was like, yes, I totally understand, and like I just really identified with his story. I identified with how he was thinking of his recovery, and just it really inspired me. And he actually started his own channel, and so then I was following him on his channel, and I started to level up a little bit with him. And then you interviewed Rob, and he's all about the polyvagal theory, and I thought, yes, that's totally makes sense. I'm on board with that. So I was doing the meditating with Kyle, and sitting with all of the, I guess, symptoms or feelings of the emotions and things that come on with the symptoms. And then I started doing the cold baths, and that really seemed to help. It really kind of leveled me up again. And then you interviewed Sam, and I was like, okay, he seems to kind of know what he's talking about. And I was kind of feeling a little, I don't know, my meditation was okay, but I was just doing like guided meditations. And so I wanted to like do real meditation. And I thought he knew some stuff. It sounded like he had, a great program, and you had taken his program, and was highly recommended. And so I'm like, yep, I'm going to do it. And so I took his meditation program, and that really changed my recovery for sure. I leveled up. That was like, I think I took it just at the end of April of this year. And so I really managed to level up my recovery then. And I became way more functional. People, friends, family. I was working part-time at that time, just doing some reception at the office that I worked at. And even patients that were coming in were saying, "Oh, you look different. You look, I don't know, brighter or happier, or whatever." And I could feel that too. I could feel it in myself, that I felt just up on another level. I was just, I don't know. I was just feeling really good, and it wasn't without its trials for sure. I had lots of flare-ups, and I don't want to call them setbacks, but flare-ups of symptoms and things like that. And I still didn't understand like why it was happening. I just still didn't understand that part of the recovery. And so I just kind of kept up with that. I still do my 2 times 20 minutes a day meditation. I can't go without it. I need it. It helps calm my brain, my stress, my emotions. It's for me, it's very beneficial, and it's just something that I need, and I will keep it going forward, I think for the rest of my life, because it's just something that I need. I decided I was going on a trip with my husband. We went back to Ontario to visit his family, and I hadn't been back there since before COVID. My husband had been back and forth a few times, but I hadn't been back since before COVID. And I knew there was going to be some not setbacks, some flare-ups, but oh, it was some pretty juicy ones. It was pretty thick for sure. And when we got back, Miguel had sent out an email that he created an academy. So he has his recovery jumpstart, and then he has his recovery academy. And it was more of a group coaching situation, and the financial part fit in with what I could afford. And so I jumped on that, and it has been one of the best decisions that I've made in my recovery, aside from the earlier ones this year. The support, the information, I understand now why I was doing the push and crash, and how to kind of keep it more level and even. I understand how to keep my mindset good. It's a total package. I really am thankful, so grateful that I'm able to be a part of it.
I'm so happy for you. It's so amazing how you just pulled all these different things from different people at different interviews, and they all seem to align and fall into place and
Mm-hmm.
kind of give you what you need. And for people watching, I'll link all those interviews that she's referencing in the video description. So if you want to take a look at any of them, they'll all be listed there. Because yeah, those were some really great people, really great
Mm-hmm.
insights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we talked a little bit before about support. Did you have support while you were going through this?
Yes. I was very fortunate to have people who were caring and understanding, and understanding to a point. Of course, they didn't understand, totally, but I don't think I had one person say to me that they didn't believe me, or that I should just, I don't know, try some newfangled thing or whatever. They really believed that I was going through this, and that long COVID was a real thing. I think it helped for my husband there was a gentleman who got sick the same time as us at his office, and he also ended up with long COVID. And so he saw it with another person as well, and not only just me. So I think it kind of helped him to understand that, yeah, this was a real thing, and that I needed support and help, and he was there every step of the way. And I couldn't do it without him and my family. They were just really there for me.
Well, you said you wanted to share your story here. You said you're not fully recovered yet, but feeling
No,
confident that you're on your path to it. So where does that confidence or, faith in the future come from?
I've always, like, since I got sick and found out that it was long COVID, there's always been that hope there, that, glimmer off in the distance that I am going to recover. I'm going to. And even my husband in the beginning, he's like, you're going to recover from this. There's no question. And so just having somebody beside me, confirming, or, telling me even when I was doubting that, I was going to recover, really, really helped in the beginning. And then seeing the recovery stories for sure was definitely a help, because even these days, and I'm pretty functional. I've started back massaging. I only see 1 or 2 clients a week, so like I'm not even part-time by any means, but I'm just trying to work into it. And so I lost my train of thought.
That is the reality of still being in it, is
Right,
it? Or being at any level of health. We lose our
right.
train of thought.
What was I saying?
Oh, it's a lot to put you on the spot too.
I think I just wanted to let people know that recovery is possible. I am recovering. I will recover. And if I can do it, you can do it. There are so many people out there who are in the process of recovering, and don't give up. It doesn't matter what landed you here. It doesn't matter if it was a virus or a surgery or life, or, you know, whatever event, it just all boils down to being a hypersensitive nervous system that is out of control. And if you're watching this, you're in the right place. You're starting to get the help that you need. And I just have so much compassion for you and for everything that you might be going through. And just know that you can do this. You can, and you will do it. You will. And I believe in you.
Very well said, Michelle. Thank you for that. And that's a good thing about all these different interviews is that people can look and find, what resonates and what fits and be like, yes, I think this is what's happening for me. And if a video doesn't resonate, that's okay. Just keep looking. I'll link above if a playlist. It's all just partial recovery stories. So people like Michelle who have made significant progress but aren't quite there. So if you feel like this has been good for your soul to just be like validating, just yes, okay, someone who gets it. There's actually quite a few on the channel that I've done already. And also want to send out our member shout out to Be Green. Thank you, Be Green, for joining. I appreciate the support. And I appreciate all of you watching so much. Sending massive hugs to you. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to your comments and your thoughts on all of this. I'm sending you massive, massive love. Thank you for spending some time with Michelle and I today. We appreciate you and hope to see you in one of these next recovery stories.